A very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session. This session is in continuation with our Basics of Technical Analysis series, and this is the chapter 5 on moving averages. So, anyone who is watching this series for the first time, we have all the previous videos uploaded on our YouTube channel under the playlist Basics of Technical Analysis. So, in case you want to watch the previous chapters, you can freely watch it on our YouTube channel. So, today we have with us a research analyst, Karan Pai, who will be taking you through the session uh, on moving averages. So, over to you, Karan. Let's get started. So, in case you want to
Yeah, thank you, Aditya. So first off, I would like to confirm that I'm audible and you're able to see the presentation. Everybody, please confirm in the chat box. And those who are connected to us via YouTube Live, you can put in the live chat. So एक बार कंफर्म कर दीजिए कि आपको मेरी स्क्रीन दिखाई दे रही है, आपको मेरा ऑडियो क्लियरली आ रहा है. एक बार सब चीजें फिक्स हो जाए, so then we'll start. Okay, so with that out of the way, so टेक्निकल एनालिसिस में हम लोगों ने पहले भी वेबिनार्स किए हैं. तो जैसे आई थिंक वी हैव कवर्ड कैंडल स्टिक पैटर्न्स. हम लोगों ने डिस्टिंक्टिवली स्टडी किया था कि कैंडल्स आपको बोलते क्या हैं. एंड हम लोग रिपीटेडली एक ही बात आपको बोलते आ रहे हैं कि आपका जो स्ट्रैटेजी है, आपकी जो स्ट्रैटेजी है, दैट शुड ऑलवेज बी लाइक अ बैलेंस डाइट. इट शुड हैव अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ एवरीथिंग. All right, but at the same time, it should not have too much of everything, otherwise it will lead to analysis paralysis. So today, while we touch base, I mean, क्या बोलते हैं उसे, हम लोगों ने because sentiment है वो हम लोगों ने रीड करना सीख लिया by looking at the candle patterns. मार्केट के सेंटिमेंट से ज्यादा मार्केट की साइकोलॉजी is what I would say. तो मार्केट की साइकोलॉजी हम लोगों ने रीड करनी सीख by looking at the candle patterns. Today we'll be looking at something called as moving averages. Now moving averages I am pretty sure कि बहुत लोग को काफी पता होगा, और moving averages में बहुत सारे moving averages भी है. So before we get into that, quickly glance through this. What are the qualities of a successful trader? Now, this is a part of most of our webinars, and I'm pretty sure कि आपको ये पता होगा. And one thing that I would like to emphasize here is that whatever you see in this PPT is clearly for educational purpose. And इसे जो भी हम लोग एग्जाम्पल ये वेबिनार में देंगे, just make sure that वो कोई recommendation नहीं हो. Don't take it the wrong way. Correct. So I mean recommendation नहीं है वो. Don't take it the wrong way. And जो भी हम लोग यहाँ पे डिस्कस करेंगे, it is only for educational purposes and nothing else. So now that out of the way, another thing that I want to point out is, recently we've come across cases wherein people have been talking to the investors and telling that they have been they are Access employees and they are running a particular YouTube, or sorry, not a YouTube, a WhatsApp or a Telegram channel, telling that it's a VIP sort of thing. एक बात मैं आपको बहुत क्लियरली बोलना चाहता हूँ, एंड वी डू दिस इन एवरी वेबिनार जस्ट टू मेक श्योर दैट द इन्वेस्टर्स डू नॉट फॉल प्रे टू दिस. सो कोई भी रिसर्च एनालिस्ट कितने भी हाईएस्ट पोजीशन का भी हो, okay, they can never run a separate Telegram or WhatsApp channel and ask money from the investors for recommendation. So Access securities के तरफ से जो भी आएगा वो आपको आपके ऐप में, आप वेबसाइट्स वगैरह पे मिल जाएगा, या ऑफिशियल चैनल्स वगैरह से मिल जाएगा. बट नन ऑफ दोज चैनल्स विल आस्क यू फॉर योर मनी. एंड अगर ऐसे कुछ रहा तो प्लीज कॉन्टैक्ट आवर हेल्प डेस्क. दे विल make sure that that sort of impersonification is taken care of. And also they will tell you what are the right channels. They'll guide you to the correct channels. So starting on with the moving averages. So I know it's a festive season, so I'll keep it absolutely short. I'll run through what are moving averages very fast. So हमारे topics जो आज हम लोग cover करने वाले हैं, they are as follows. So एक तो हम लोग मूविंग एवरेज कवर करेंगे, देन we'll look at the uses of moving average, and then we'll look at the type of moving average, and type of moving averages में बहुत सारे moving averages हैं, correct? So you have something like Hull moving average and all those things, but जो हमारा major focus होगा, that will be the most commonly used moving average, the SMA and the EMA. And then we'll look at the pros and the cons of the SMAs, pros and cons of EMA. Then we'll quickly take a look at SMA versus EMA, and then we will look at how to put it to use. करेक्ट. सो हम लोग आपको ये भी बताएंगे कि आप SMA कब यूज कर सकते हो, EMA कब यूज कर सकते हो, why a particular time frame में SMA is better, why a particular time frame में EMA is better, या दोनों में डिफरेंस कितना आएगा आपको. So these are a few things that we'll run through when we look at the charts. Now going on, so simple चीज है. सबसे पहले तो मैं डिस्कस करना चाहूंगा कि what are moving averages, and this is going to be a mix of Hindi and English both. I hope everybody is comfortable with this, and at any point of time अगर आपको लगे कि मेरे डिलीवरी का पेस थोड़ा ज्यादा फास्ट है, या आपको कोई टॉपिक समझ में नहीं आया हो, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Please feel free to put it in the YouTube comment box. I mean the live chat box. So we'll make sure that we adjust the pace or the delivery accordingly. So सबसे पहले अगर मैं moving average की बात करूँ, now there is a term called as average. Average is a statistical measure. ये most of the people who are from a science background will definitely know, but also from commerce background will understand. So I'm pretty sure कि जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर हम लोग जो सुन रहे हैं हम लोग को at this point of time, आपने कहीं ना कहीं averages ये बात सुनी होगी. So there are instances जहाँ पे we say कि if there are 15 people in a room and सबकी height or weight, सबका height or weight मैं calculate करूँ, and then I want to know what is the average height. Correct, the average height of an Indian man, the average height of an Indian woman, all those things. So जब मैं average की बात करूँ, it is basically the sum divided by the observation group. Correct. So अगर समझिए एक रूम में there are say 10 people and मुझे जानना है कि सब लोगों की average height क्या है. So I'll be getting a lot of figures. So जब हम we want to understand एक mean या एक particular value चाहिए from 10 different 15 different values, that is when we calculate the average कि plus minus इतना हो सकता है. So that is the average. Now one of the benefits of moving averages is that it smoothens out the price. ये हम लोग observe करेंगे कि when we look at candlestick patterns, when you look at line charts, and when we look at the averages, ये मैं आपको आगे जाकर दिखाऊंगा कि how it smoothens the price trend, how it smoothens the price data, and then it helps you identify trends over time. Abhi, when I'm telling you that it helps you identify trends over time, I mean when you are looking at a particular moving average and it's trending up or trending down, that is when I say that it is identifying trend over time. Abhi, before getting into moving average, I just want to make sure that you understand the concept of slope and whether it's a positive slope or a negative slope. So जब भी आप chart read करोगे, okay, so this is something that you will see. This is ये आपका समझिए don't go that way. I mean don't focus on the proper line or not, but ये अगर आपका charting screen है, correct? So आप जब भी chart read करते हो, you read it from the left to the right. करेक्ट. आप लेफ्ट साइड पर पुराना डेटा होता है, यहाँ पर जो है हम लोग डेट्स ऑन द एक्स एक्सिस यू विल हैव द डेट्स, द ईयर्स एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, एंड वहीं पर ये वाई एक्सिस पे यू विल हैव द प्राइस. सो जब भी आप चार्ट रीड करते हो, सो यू गो फ्रॉम द लेफ्ट टू द राइट. जैसे वैसे ही जब भी आप स्लोप देखते हो, करेक्ट, जब भी मैं बोलूं कि ये लाइन का स्लोप अपवर्ड स्लोपिंग है, इन दिस केस दिस वुड बी अ पॉजिटिव स्लोप. एंड वहीं पर मैं समझे बोलूं कि अगर ये ऐसे डाउनवर्ड स्लोप कर रहे हैं, दिस विल बी नेगेटिव स्लोप. आई जस्ट वांटेड टू क्लियर दैट कांसेप्ट सो दैट जब भी मैं बोलूं कि इसका स्लोप पॉजिटिव है, इसका स्लोप नेगेटिव है, आपको ये कांसेप्ट वापस रिविजिट करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. सो नथिंग very important here. I'm just explaining you what a positive slope is, what a negative slope is, and the fact that we read the chart from the left to the right. All right. So now that we have covered that, so one might ask, जब price है, जब हम लोग trend lines draw करते हैं, why do we require a moving average? So here are a few examples of why we require moving average. So first is to understand support and resistances. नाउ हमारे वेबिनार्स अगर आपने पहले अटेंड किए हैं तो हम लोगों ने आई मीन इन द वीकली एक्सपायरी वेबिनार्स, ओके, आई कीप माय चार्ट सिंपल एंड मैं सबको रिकमेंड करता हूँ कि आप लोग सिंपल स्ट्रेटजी रखें अपने पास. सो मेरे मेरे चार्ट पर आपको 3 एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेजेस दिखाई देंगे एंड यू विल फाइंड 1 RSI. सो जब भी मैं वो चार्ट्स वगैरह देखता हूँ, आई गिव वेटेज टू वेयर द प्राइस इज विद रिगार्ड्स टू द मूविंग एवरेज, because the moving averages, it being an average, कि गए past, say if I'm looking at the 21-day moving average, correct? So मैं ये देख रहा हूँ कि over the past 21 days, what has been the average close and all those things. So when the price comes very close to a particular average, वो थोड़ा crucial हो जाता है, because psychology ऐसे बोलती है. For example, से निफ्टी continuously trend कर रहा था, पिछले 6 दिनों में वो काफी गिरा, correct, and it came to say a particular X moving average, say for example 50-day moving average के पास प्राइस आया. So a trader is going to look at it from this point of view कि ये गए 50 दिनों में मेरे प्राइस एक्शन का जितना भी प्राइस रहा है क्लोज टू क्लोज, उसका एवरेज ये पॉइंट पर आ रहा है, एंड करेंटली आई एम प्लेस्ड एट दैट. So these are a few things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to moving averages. One is that one of the crucial and probably one of the most important role of a moving average is to make sure, is to understand the support and resistances. Then जैसे मैंने आपको बोला कि it smoothens out the price. जब मैं price action observe करता हूँ on a chart, correct? When I just see, yeah. Now, एक चीज मैं आपको बहुत क्लियरली बोलना चाहता हूँ, वॉट एवर आई डिस्कस हियर इज जस्ट फॉर एजुकेशनल पर्पस, इज नॉट अ रिकमेंडेशन एंड शुड नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड एज वन. Do not get confused between a recommendation and a simple analysis that we're doing. Now, I've used 5, 13, 21, and just for the sake of it, I've also added 50-day EMA. So यहाँ पर अगर आप ऑब्जर्व करोगे, you look at the price action here. What I'll do is I'll change the candles to lines. So ये जो आप bold red देख रहे हो यहाँ पर, that is basically the close to close. I mean close to close क्या movement रहा है निफ्टी का. So you just look at the amount of jitters, and the more you dig deep, आप जितना जितना छोटे टाइम फ्रेम में आप जाओगे, आपको उतना ही ये इसमें जिटर और दिखाई देगा. Now this for example is a 1 day chart. Now अभी मैं जा रहा हूँ इसमें hourly chart पर, यहाँ पर देखिए जिटर्स कितने हैं, correct, and I'll go down to 15 minute और इसमें jitters बढ़ गए. But look at what the moving averages are doing, correct. ये जो मेरा blue line है, that is basically the 50-day moving average, और बाकी तीन जो है, the black one is I think the black one is the 21-day exponential moving average. मैं कितना ही छोटे टाइम फ्रेम पे जाऊँ, there is always a smooth line. So that basically smoothens out the prices. So price action जब भी मुझे observe करना है, if I look at the trend line, I can understand what the basic price action has been, whether it has been positive, whether it has been negative, what has been the general price trend is what I'll get to know. So now we'll come to the most crucial part, and I'm pretty sure that most of the viewers here would be interested in how to generate trading signals. I cannot re-emphasize enough. Don't think that I'm repeating myself, but I'm going to. यहाँ पर जो भी हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे, it is only for educational purpose, not a recommendation. So यहाँ पर आप instances observe करोगे where a particular moving average has acted as a support, where there have been instances where it has been acting as a resistance. जैसे for example recent data में अगर इसका observe करो निफ्टी का, so the 50-day EMA के नीचे break हुआ था on the 7th of October, and then कल के सेशन में 8th of October में अगर आप देखोगे कि despite whatever is happening in China, it could not break out above the 50-day EMA. So जो at that point जो 50-day EMA था, वो एक resistance level बन गया था. So similarly आप अगर यहाँ पर observe करोगे around 5th of August, the 50-day EMA was acting as a support. Now these are simple examples of how you would use moving averages as support and resistances. Now अभी सभी के दिमाग में एक क्वेश्चन आया होगा कि he has mentioned about generating trading signals. Yes, अगर आप यहाँ पर देखोगे, every time the prices, before the prices go down or before the prices tend to go up, moving averages, they have a particular tendency. करेक्ट, कोई एक लॉन्ग टर्म मूविंग एवरेज के ऊपर है, कोई शॉर्ट टर्म मूविंग एवरेज के ऊपर है, कभी प्राइस ने नीचे से शॉर्ट टर्म मूविंग एवरेज, नीचे से लॉन्ग टर्म मूविंग एवरेज को कट किया, जैसे यहाँ पर था, ठीक है। एंड कोई कोई सिस्टम्स में आप ऐसे देखो कि देयर हैज बीन अ लॉट ऑफ विप सॉस। सो टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट विल गो अ बिट डीपर। हम लोग देखेंगे कि व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ एसएमएस, व्हाट आर सॉरी मूविंग एवरेजेस। सो यहाँ पर आपको चार एसएमएस दिखाई देते हैं। So one is a simple moving average, another one is a weighted as in this is exponential moving average. Now this is called as weighted because इसमें data को weightage है. Now bear in mind that simple moving average में भी data को weightage है, but if you are taking the data of the past 10 days, then the data of all the 10 days is given the same amount of weightage. But that is not the case with exponential moving average. Then you have something called as Hull moving average and adaptive moving average. Now adaptive moving average, Hull moving average thoda is beyond the purview of this webinar, and I don't want to confuse people at this point of time, but something like adaptive moving average will take your volatility also into consideration. But at this point हम लोग वो discuss नहीं करेंगे. We'll talk about that those two moving averages when we get into our advanced sessions. Then अगर मैं if I was to give a simple word to one word to a SMA, then that would be a simple mean. So simple mean अगर मैं बोलूं जैसे say for example there are 10 people in the room, okay, I want to know their average height. So मैं क्या करूंगा कि 10 के 10 लोगों का मैं height ले लूंगा, I'll just sum it up and divide it by 10. So मुझे एक average मिल जाएगा. But EMA में the story is a bit different. Now, how is it different? We'll learn as we go ahead. So, simple moving averages का now P being the price, इसमें दो चीजें लगती है to calculate. One is P, the price, and another one is N, that is the period of calculation. अगर आप 10 दिन का प्राइस उसमें फीड इन कर रहे हो, your N becomes 10 because आपका जो periodicity है calculation का वो 10 दिन का है, and then it's a simple sum and divide by the total number of observations. यहाँ तक किसी को कुछ क्वेरी है, कुछ डाउट है, पूछना है, बोलना है, प्लीज पुट इन द चैट बॉक्स. Just confirm that the delivery is fine. I mean, do we need to pace it? Pace increase करना है, decrease करना है? हिंदी में ज़्यादा बोलो, English में ज़्यादा बोलो, please let us know. I'll wait for a minute and we will open up the floor for you guys to type in your question, ask questions if at all you have any. अगर नहीं है तो none बोल दीजिए so we can move on. Okay, looks like nobody has a question or query. Sure. So we'll move on. Done. Okay. So simple moving average का calculation हम लोगों ने देख लिया. Now we'll look at the strengths and weaknesses when it comes to a simple moving average. Correct. So one of the strength is long term price trends जो है उसमें वो काफी stable है. Now why would I say that long term price trends में stable है? Now see, this is a chart of Nifty, and अगर मुझे यहाँ पर एक SMA add करना है, then I just type in moving average simple, go to the settings, switch it to 200. Now 200 is quite common. Now in the chat box अगर कोई मुझे बोल सकता है कि why 200? What is the significance of it? Just a wild guess कि आपको ऐसा क्यों लगता है कि 200 day will halt for some time. आप लोग मुझे chat box में बोल दीजिए कि why 200 day moving average is considered to be so crucial. I mean, what is the significance behind it? The meanwhile, I'll just set color to this. So guys, I have told you earlier, अगर आपके माइंड में कुछ क्वेरी नहीं है, मतलब there are two instances, right? या तो फिर आपको सब समझ में आ रहा है या कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. So please let me know which one of that situation are we in right now. So those of you who want to know what the question is, so मेरा question ऐसा है कि आपने 200-day moving average, 50-day moving average सब बहुत सुना होगा. Why are they so significant? And it has something to do with the fact that it is basically an average of X period, average of 50 days, average of 200 days. Why are they to? Why are those particular numbers like the 200-day? Why is it so important? Okay, that is some confirmation कि okay सर लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है. So ठीक है. So I'll get on with it. So अगर आपने देखा होगा कि we have 365 days in a year. Now considering all the holidays, considering all the weekends, we have 252 working days. So होता क्या था? Now that we have computers, now that we have charting software, calculation has become really easy. But back in the day, when computers were not a thing, charting softwares were not a thing. Calculating a 252-day moving average used to be a bit difficult. That's why this concept of rounding it off to the multiple of 10 came in. So that is why we use 200-day moving average. So the world doesn't change if you know this information or don't know this information. I just wanted to give you a trivia. Now, आपको एक चीज ध्यान में रखनी है, that is the particular reason you have the 200-day moving average. And so 200-day moving average generally represents 1 year's average when you're looking at the daily chart. And जैसे जैसे आप उसको weekly पर जाओगे, मतलब it is 200 week moving average, आप monthly भी देखोगे 200 month moving average. Now, similarly, because 200 represents 1 year, 100 represents a half yearly cycle, 50 represents a quarterly cycle, and the 20 basically represents a monthly cycle. 5 जो है वो आपका week होता है. So now that we have that out of the way, so एक SMA जो है वो आपको बहुत ही clear trend बोलेगा. Now the possibility of 200-day exponential moving average moving drastically because of this price change, या फिर आप अगर एक ऑब्जर्व करो तो पिछले 6 दिनों से निफ्टी गिर रही थी, करेक्ट, उसके बावजूद 200-day मूविंग एवरेज में कुछ खास चेंज हुआ क्या? नो. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट इज नॉट नोज हेवी, मतलब इसको लेटेस्ट डेटा पे ज्यादा एम्फोसिस नहीं है. वो आज के डेटा को एंड 200 दिन पहले के डेटा को इट विल गिव यू द सेम वेटेज. अंडरस्टैंड दिस पॉइंट. अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि देयर आर 10 पीपल इन द रूम, करेक्ट, सो एंड मैं बोलता हूँ कि मुझे उनका एवरेज हाइट चाहिए, आई एम गोइंग टू गिव देम ऑल द सेम वेटेज. नाउ इफ आई डाइवर्सिफाइड बेस्ड ऑन देयर बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर कि अगर not the body structure, I would say chalo the tendency of people who are a bit एज वाइज, से फॉर एग्जांपल अगर 10 लोग हैं रूम में और मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि 5 साल की उम्र के लोगों का ये पर्टिकुलर वेट होगा, या probably a wrong example, okay, weight के हिसाब से, okay, if I want to find the average weight, people who are normally long, they tend to have heavier bones, so उन लोग का weight ज्यादा होता है. So अगर मैं उस बेसिस पे मैं ये करता हूँ कि people who are heavy, मैं उन लोग को शायद low, I mean who are tall, मैं उन लोग को low weightage देता हूँ. Why? Because they tend to be a bit more heavier. Now I'm calculating the weight here, bear in mind. So that is why ये डिफरेंस होता है बिटवीन अ वेटेड मूविंग एवरेज एंड अ सिंपल मूविंग एवरेज. सिंपल मूविंग एवरेज में मैं 10 के 10 लोगों को एक ही वेटेज दे रहा था कि मतलब सारे लोगों का डेटा मेरे लिए सिमिलर सिग्निफिकेंस कैरी करता है. बट व्हेन आई एम गिविंग वेटेज, एक पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन या एक पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप ऑफ लोगों का डेटा जो है मेरे लिए ज्यादा वैल्यू करता है या कम वैल्यू करता है. So some ways it is good, some ways it is bad. Now अगर मैं आपको बोलूं कि simple moving average मुझे long term पे plot करना है, will it make a difference for me to put in a SMA? Then yes, slight फर्क पड़ेगा, because EMA is normally a weighted moving average and SMA has equal weightage. So थोड़ा हम लोग pros and cons इसका देखेंगे as we get into the webinar. So one of the weakness is that it has given equal weightage, because अगर मैं आज का डेटा देख रहा हूँ या दिन पहले का डेटा देख रहा हूँ, that will carry more significance for me than the data 200 days back. Now another problem of a simple moving average is that जैसे जैसे मेरा 200 डे 200 डेज कंप्लीट हो रहे, से फॉर एग्जांपल आई स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द 1st of Jan 2024 एंड आई गो ऑल द वे 200 डेज फ्रॉम देयर. सो मेरा जो 201st डे होगा, दैट डे माय कैलकुलेशन विल ड्रॉप ऑफ द डेटा ऑफ 1st of Jan. इसका ड्रॉप ऑफ इफेक्ट होता है. नाउ व्हेन यू आर लुकिंग एट लॉन्ग टर्म मूविंग एवरेजेस, दैट ड्रॉप ऑफ इफेक्ट माइट नॉट बी मैसिव, बट व्हेन यू आर लुकिंग एट शॉर्ट टर्म मूविंग एवरेजेस समथिंग लाइक 5 या 10, वो जो ड्रॉप ऑफ इफेक्ट है, दैट डज मैटर अ लॉट. एंड बिकॉज इट हैज इक्वल वेटेज, जो करंट डेटा है एंड जो 200 दिन पहले का डेटा है, उसे हम लोग सेम वेटेज दे रहे हैं. सो इट इज ऑलवेज स्लो टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू करंट प्राइस चेंज. सो ये सेक्शन में कितने लोग को डाउट है? कितने लोगों को डाउट है when it comes to what are the advantages or what are the strengths and weaknesses of a simple moving average? वो मुझे बताइए अभी. So just to sum it up really quick, the strength is that it can be used on a long term when you want to plot the long term moving averages. 200 वगैरह plot कर सकते हो. One of the a few of the weaknesses are that it gives you equal weightage to the most recent data and the oldest data. Then there is a drop off effect. It drops off the older data when there is a new data in. And then because it gives equal weightage, it has a slower response to the latest data. So these are a few strengths and weaknesses of the simple moving average. That is when we come to the exponential moving average. अभी exponential moving average क्या बोलता है? अगर आप calculation इसका देखोगे, correct, it is basically, it has got two factors. One is a smoothing factor, another one is the price. Now and with that we can calculate EMA. So EMA calculate करने के लिए उसका जो basics है, first you have to calculate average, correct. अगर मैं 200 day say for example 5 day EMA calculate कर रहा हूँ, I cannot start the moving average without the average price. So my first step would be to calculate the SMA, the 5 day SMA, and then add a weighing factor to it. अभी इसका smoothing factor या weight जो जिसे हम बोलते हैं. Now how do we get that? So it is basically 2 upon n plus 1, the n being the calculation period. So वो मुझे एक smoothing factor देगा. And then if you see, P into W plus the previous EMA into 1 minus weight. So P into W matlab we are giving the highest weightage to the current price, P being the price. So we are giving the highest weightage to the current price plus the previous value of the EMA into 1 minus weight. So say for example my weightage calculation comes to say 10, correct. So I would give the current weightage, the current price, the weightage of 10 plus the previous value of the EMA. Say for example it comes to around 200, so that will be 200 to 9. So मैं basically यहाँ पर क्या कर रहा हूँ, I am giving more weightage to the current price, more weightage to the current price. So that is when exponential moving average comes in. So अगर आप यहाँ पर देखोगे, so something ये जो आप red line यहाँ पर, I'm sure it's red line, ये जो line आप देख रहे हो यहाँ पर, correct, I'll hide out all the other moving averages. Yeah, so if you look at this line here, correct, that is a 5 period exponential moving average. I'll just put in SMA and I'll show you the difference between EMA and the SMA. So input would be 5, correct. Okay, look at this. यहाँ पर आपको एक इंटरेस्टिंग ऑब्जर्वेशन आएगा. सो विच मूविंग एवरेज टर्न्ड नेगेटिव फर्स्ट? ये कैंडल पे अगर आप देखोगे, करेक्ट, दैट इज 7 सितंबर के. सो द ब्लू वन, दैट इज द सिंपल मूविंग एवरेज एंड द अदर वन दैट इज एक्सपोनेंशियल मूविंग एवरेज. अब यहाँ पर ट्रेंड देख लीजिए कि विच वन इज एक्टिंग और रिएक्टिंग फास्टर टू द प्राइसेस, करेक्ट. आपको एक बेसिक आइडिया मिल जाएगा एज टू व्हाई यू शुड बी, जब भी आप शॉर्ट टर्म मूविंग एवरेजेस देख रहे हो, why you should use EMA versus SMA. Now again I am not promoting EMA versus SMA, ऐसे कुछ भी नहीं है. These things personally are something that I would personally look at if I was into trading, because obviously we I have a few systems that are built around the moving averages, exponential moving averages. Now same thing what I'll do is I'll plot it for a longer time frame, and उसमें आपको difference हो दिखेगा, लेकिन थोड़ा कम दिखेगा. Now we are changing the value of the EMA. Okay, this is the EMA, and for SMA, see, now ये जो आपको difference यहाँ पर दिखाई दे रहा है, it is not as significant as what you saw in the 5 day. मतलब because the longer आप जितना ज़्यादा इसका time frame आप use करोगे calculation का, the simple moving average is going to take that bit more time to react to prices. But because it's a longer time frame, आपका EMA भी उसी तरह react करेगा. But जब भी आप supports and resistances की बात कर रहे हो, for me EMA has worked well over SMA, because because of the drop off factor, lack of drop off factor in the EMA. Probably that is the reason. Yeah, my test sample hasn't been that good. But then again, I'm not the kind of person who will go and fix things that are not broken. So because personally for me EMA has worked, my personal preference would be to go for EMA. So मैंने यहाँ पर आपको एक लॉन्ग एंड शॉर्ट टर्म के बीच में डिफरेंस दिखा दिया कि हाउ दीज रिएक्ट. नाउ दैट यू हैव सीन दिस, आई विल जस्ट अगेन टेक इट टू द 5 पीरियड SMA एंड EMA, एंड आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि आपको डिफरेंस जो है वो यहाँ पर दिखाई देगा कि as to why when you are looking at short term moving averages, why would you prefer EMA over SMA. Now अभी एक सिंपल देखिए कि कल का दिन positive open at least, and then a negative close. But you see the way the EMA has reacted, you see the way this line has reacted, correct? Immediately there was a bend. But यहाँ पर if you look at the SMA, the blue line, जो SMA है उसे time लगता है react करने. So there are two things that will actually matter. Just give me a second, guys. I'll take a minute's break, and in the meanwhile, what you guys can do is put in any queries, any questions that you have had. I'm just having a bit of itchiness in my throat. I'll just have some water. Guys, please start asking questions. Please, I just want to understand that I'm able to convey what I'm trying to convey here. Okay, I'm back, and I'll not hold you up, guys. I'll not hold you guys up for a very long time. So I'll quickly explain what exponential moving averages are, what are the benefits, and the strengths and weaknesses of exponential moving averages. So strength हम लोगों ने देखा कि it is faster reacting to prices, and it is useful when we are using it in short term price trends. And similarly अब हम लोगों ने एक weakness, just give me a second. Yeah. So one of the weaknesses here is that there is extreme reliance on the current data. So because of the extreme reliance on the current data, it is faster to respond to prices, but the only problem is that there will be a bit of false signals here. So now we will look at the differences between EMA and SMA, and discuss how we can build strategies around moving averages, and we'll call it a day. So here are a few differences between EMA and SMA. So one of the differences that the SMAs, they give equal weightage to all the prices, and EMAs, they have a tendency to give more weightage to the most recent price. And SMAs, they are slower to respond to price changes. EMAs, because they give more weightage to the current market price, I mean the current prices, they are faster to react to the changes in the price. Now, when we look at one common thing that both of them have is that both of them can be used for identifying supports and resistances. So here are a few quick takeaways that we have understood from today's webinar. Now, I'll quickly take you through how one could go about building systems, using moving averages. Now, एक चीज आपको इसमें ध्यान रखनी है कि you have to understand by yourself कि what are you looking at. Okay, I'll just, yeah. So you have to understand by yourself कि आप लॉन्ग टर्म ट्रेडर हो, आप शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडर हो, आपको इंट्राडे करना है, स्विंग करना है, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट आपका मूविंग एवरेज कौन सा यूज होगा वो आप डिसाइड करोगे. So if I was to look at the short term price changes and all those things, my go-to moving averages always have been 5, 13 and 21. 5 because it represents 1 week's worth of price changes. Then 13 because it मुझे एक ऐसे moving average चाहिए that is in between the long and the short moving average. And the 21, which in this case is a long-term moving average compared to the other two moving averages. Now, you can build moving average systems using only two moving averages. But कैसा होता है उसमें कि sometimes one of the tendencies of moving averages is to completely fail if the market is consolidating. Correct, ये particular system में देखिए यहाँ पर आपको कभी भी आपको लॉन्ग या शॉर्ट सिग्नल आपको नहीं आया होगा. Why? Because there have been continuous whipsaws. कहीं पे आपको लॉन्ग आ गया and then there was an immediate exit, then short आ गया, then there was a false breakdown वाला sign आ गया. So now this again फिर भी ये थोड़ा इसमें हम लोगों को ट्रेंड दिखाई दे रहा है, but there are absolutely bad scenarios where the markets have been consolidating, and in situations like that your moving average systems are completely going to fail. So before applying a moving average system, one thing you have to understand is that you understand whether the market is trending or in a trading zone. If it is trending, your moving averages will work fine. But अगर वो ज़्यादा consolidate कर रहा है market, then your moving averages are not going to work. So that is why we tell you, you at that point of time you have to have something like a stochastics, RSI, to understand whether there is momentum, whether there is loss of momentum, whether there is trend build up, and all those things. Now we'll go on to building systems around moving averages. I'm sorry, I'm having a bad throat. Yeah. So the moving average that I'm using is basically 5, 13 and 21. So the मेरा 5 जो है, that is my fast moving average. Then I would have a signal line and then a long term moving average. So there are multiple ways of building a system. One would be to see whether it is long or short based on the positioning of the shorter moving average with regards to the longer moving average. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah. So one would be basically crossover of the long moving average. Another one would be to see if the prices are crossing the short term moving average or the long term moving averages. So yeah, guys, what we'll do is we'll stop the session here. I'm not in a position to take it any further. We'll stop the session here. We'll continue this in the next session. I'm sure you guys will get a notification. So यहाँ तक अगर किसी को कुछ query है, कुछ पूछना है, बोलना है, please let us know. And what I would suggest is, yeah, if you guys could work and come across with ideas. Now मैंने आपको दो चीजें बोली है, comparison of price with moving average and comparison of short term moving average with long term moving average. So if you guys can come up with some ideas with which we can build systems, please let us know. We'll cover that. We'll try and address the issues that we'll face with a particular system in the next webinar. I'm really sorry we had to cut short this session, but yeah, see you guys again in the next webinar. Thank you for joining us, guys.